What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Corvette Weekly. Thanks for pressing play today, guys. As usual, this show is brought to you by the awesome people over at the NCM Insurance, which, of course, you can find right there. And also in the description down below. If you guys want to learn more about NCM Insurance and why I think they're so awesome, click on that link and run through the process and have them give you a customized quote for your car insurance. On step number 5, you're going to want to put in there under the How You Heard About Us section. Make sure you put in there horsepower obsessed. I found out at the Corvettes at Carlisle show that you can save a good bit of money on it just by putting my name in there. It actually saves you a little bit more than what it would normally save you. So make sure you're putting horsepower obsessed in step number 5. Get your insurance through NCM Insurance. They are going to save you a bunch of money. I've heard reports of 50% or more. You know, the typical stuff. So I see all the guys over here in the ladies and gentlemen, I should say, over in the comment section here, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate the support every single week. I love seeing all the same names and some new ones popping in from time to time as well. We have a lot to talk about today because there was the NCM event that just happened. And at the NCM event, there was a lot of new discussion of the ZR1, and some of it was pretty interesting stuff. I saw some of you guys already kind of talking about the thumbnail showing 137,000 RPM. We're going to talk about exactly what that is in just 1 second. But before we do, Austin, I agree. Happy Labor Day, everybody. Thank you for tuning in on the, what is otherwise a kind of lazy day, kind of hangout day, kind of grilling out day. I appreciate you guys coming in here, even though it is a holiday, so to speak. So, my wife actually asked me, she's like, "Are you going to do the live video this Monday?" And I said, "Absolutely. I don't miss these unless I literally cannot get to a computer. That's the only way I will miss these Monday Night Lives. So you guys can count on these every Monday night unless something catastrophic happens. I've only missed one that I can recall, and I literally could not get out of bed. I was so sick. So, yeah, count on these guys. We are here to hang out. We're here to live the Corvette experience. Even if you don't own a Corvette, you can kind of join into the community here. It's a really good place to be. So let's see what we got here in the chat section. Matt Hurley is in the house. What's up, Matt? Kevin Haran. Ralph Cruz says, "Happy Labor Day." Glass City Car Nerd, Jamie's in the house. What's up, everybody? I really appreciate you guys tuning in on the holiday. Larry Jackson said he's retired, but he's still celebrating. Absolutely, absolutely. This is a holiday for everybody to celebrate. Yeah, Professor Corvette, very well put. He says tuning in on a holiday means you're staying obsessed. I like that. I like that a lot. You guys, I love the camaraderie that we have going here, the community that we've started to build. It is really just an absolute blast. It's awesome to to know all you guys. So many of you I got to meet at Corvettes at Carlisle this past I don't know, I guess 2 weeks ago now at this point. Something like that. I don't maybe a week ago, a little over a week ago. But either way, I got to meet a lot of you guys, and it's been a blast. It's been an absolute blast getting to know all you guys. Let's see. Darren says, "I remember that, Justin. You didn't miss it. You just postponed it." Yeah, I did, and I think I postponed it actually 2 days, if I recall correctly. But I do my best to be here at the same time, same day, every week because I want you guys to know you can count on it. It's not something I'm going to randomly change throughout the week. If nothing catastrophic happens, I will be here Monday night. Austin says, "Hearing your Z07 in person was..." Thanks, Austin. I really like the way that car turned out. Big thank you, obviously, to AWE. Big thank you to Soul Performance. Big thank you to Brandon and David for hooking up those cats and everything. It all just came together in a way that just really, that car really does sound good. And I love every second of it. Trust me. Let's see. Tell us what's with the ZR1. Peter, we're going to get to that. But before we do, guys, please smash the thumbs up button. I obviously, the goal is always to get to 100 by 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 200 by 8:30. So if you guys can, let's get to 100 early. Smash the thumbs up. Let's see. Happy Labor Day and enjoy the stream. I'm going to be watching it while playing Gary's mod. Okay. I appreciate it, man. let's see, what do we got here? So one other thing I want to mention, guys, in the, like I talked about the NCM insurance right here. That's in the description down below, but so is the ability to win a C8 Corvette Z06. Check out the links in the description down below. They're going to get you 50% extra entries just for doing it from the Horsepower Obsessed YouTube channel. So if you click on those, you're going to get bonus entries just for doing it here. The price is the same. You're going to get a good chance to win a C8 Corvette Z06. And I'll tell you what, there's no better price than free. So click on that link. It's 25 bucks is the cheapest entry. It's going to give you a bunch of bonus entries. And I actually know somebody I met at Carlisle who won a car from doing the exact same kind of giveaway. So links in the description down below, guys. One other link in the description I want to talk about really quickly is from our friend over at the Corvette Today podcast. So if you guys haven't heard of that, Steve Garrett is the guy who runs the podcast over there. Really, really a good dude. He was at Corvettes at Carlisle as well, but I've met him multiple times at multiple different events. Really, really a Corvette enthusiast at heart. Does a podcast every now and then. I was actually on one of his podcasts about 3 years ago now, before I even had my original C8 Corvette Stingray. And it was really awesome to be on there. He's a really kind of a radio show kind of personality. And he actually talks about one of the videos that I recently did. If you guys haven't checked that out yet, I changed out the cabin air filter on a C7 Corvette Z06 and my C8 Corvette Z06. Cabin air filters are one of those things that everybody just kind of forgets about, kind of doesn't really focus on too much because it doesn't affect performance and things like that, but it does affect your lungs. So something you should check out. And Steve actually put it up on his podcast. If you want to check it out, the link's in the description down below. I would like for you guys to go to Corvette Today, the podcast on YouTube, comment on it and say HPO sent me so I can see how many of you guys are actually going over there. I will actually paste the link in the chat if you guys want to check him out after this is all over. You can go right there, watch the video, and the section on the cabin air filter starts at 33 minutes and 54 seconds in. Just go there, comment that HPO sent me. I want to see how many of you guys actually tune into this kind of stuff. So I'd appreciate it. Steve's a really good guy. I really want to help him out any way I can. So comment and say HPO sent me. But don't leave here to do that. Wait until the end of the show because we got a lot of ZR1 stuff to talk about tonight. So let's see what we got here. Kevin says, love your Z06, bro. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. He throws a super chat of $5 in. That's really awesome, man. I appreciate it. We'll give that a little heart. Why not, right? Yeah, there it is. So let's see what else we got here. Michael says, Justin, I'm about to put an AWE exhaust on. What diagnostic tool do you use just in case? That's a great question, Michael. I actually have a video I just put out not too long ago talking about exactly how I clear check engine lights. Let me grab it here for you. Actually, yeah, Michael, at the end of the show, if you could shoot me an email, I'll actually send you the direct link to the video that I used to clear the check engine light on my car. It's really an awesome setup because it's cheap and it uses a phone you probably already have in your pocket. So shoot me an email once this is all done and we'll get you set up on that one. All right. Someone says the volume's a little too low. Let me turn it up a little bit. Is that better? How's that, guys? Let's see. Matt Hurley says, Justin, you're almost at 95,000 subscribers. So badass. You will blow by 100,000 before the end of the year. I hope so, Matt. I really appreciate I appreciate all you guys, but Matt, you've been there really since the beginning of these live videos. It's awesome that you've tuned in basically every week. I really appreciate the guys that are here every single week with me. Like I said, I'm going to be here as often as I can unless something catastrophic happens, and a lot of you guys seem to kind of do the same thing. So it's awesome. I appreciate all of you more than I could possibly even portray here. Super 8, yeah, he said he met Steve this weekend. Isn't he an awesome dude? There's just something about the energy that he brings because he's such a Corvette guy, and he just there's just a positivity around him. I mean, that's not common nowadays. A lot of people focus too much on the negative stuff. I love the positivity that he brings. Let's see. G Smith says yes, 100K coming up. I honestly, guys, 100K for me is going to solidify what I do here, because this is, for those of you who don't know, this is my full-time job. YouTube is my full-time job. This pays my bills. And basically every one of you guys are the ones that are actually signing those paychecks. So I appreciate it. I cannot thank you enough. And when 100K finally happens here on the channel, it solidifies it in my head as this is legit. And it's because of you guys. So thank you again. Professor Corvette says 200K by the end of 25. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Speaking of that, where are we at with the thumbs ups? We're at 74. We got 18 more minutes to hit 100, guys. If you could, please smash the thumbs up button. Let's get to 200 by 8:30. 100 by 8, 200 by 8:30. That's the kind of the golden rule of the live video here. Matt Hurley says, heck yeah, and looking forward to meeting in person at Supercar Saturday in a couple weeks. Actually, it's like a little over a week because it's on the 14th. So definitely, we're definitely going to meet. It's going to be awesome. Jonathan Hernandez says, what wheels do you have in your C8? So, guys, this was a question that actually came up on an Instagram post that I put up of my car. I have Forge Light with no D, Forge Light wheels. If you go to forgelightwheels.com, you'll actually be able to select the wheels right from their website. And in the quote, just make sure you put in there HPO. You'll save $250 on a set of wheels. And they are some of the highest quality wheels that I have seen. The wheels on my car are an absolute dream to own. Literally, I know it's weird to say this about wheels, but everybody loves them. It really sets off the car. The quality of them is amazing. The fact that whenever I put them on the car, they barely needed any kind of balancing because they were already so almost perfectly balanced. It was just, they're really a nice set of wheels. So check out Forge Light, no D. You do not want to take the D when it comes to getting a good set of wheels. So anyway, Michael McCurry says, as your boss, Justin, employee evaluation is you're awesome. Michael, man, if you really were my boss, I'd love to hear something like that. But actually, I guess you're right. Technically, all you guys are my boss because, yeah, like I said, technically you're signing the paychecks, even if you don't realize it. Every time you come on here and you watch the videos, you hang out on the Monday Night Lives, you guys are helping the community. You're helping me. And again, thank you. Jonathan says, are they good for C7 Z06s? Yes, they are. So they actually just put out a couple pictures of the wheels on a C7 Z06 recently on their website. They will build whatever offset you'd like. So if you want them to be perfectly flush with your fenders, you can get that on the C8, on the C7, really any car you want to have a custom wheel made for, they're your company. So again, Forge Light. Believe it or not, links are in the description down below. I know all of the links, everything we ever talk about. NCM Insurance is down there. The ability to win that C8 Z06 is down there. Forge Light Wheels is down there. And actually, if you buy the Forge Light Wheels from my website, you will save $500 on them, not just $250. So the link, again, description down below. Check out Forge Light. Save yourself some money. Yeah, it's all good things. Doug H, what's up? He says, good evening to all. We got to hang out with Doug a little bit at Carlisle. He's always a pleasure to hang out with. Bill Miller also was at Carlisle. Says, speaking of the boss, where's Amber? She's at a birthday party right now, technically, but she might make an appearance here towards the end of the show. John Perkins says, hey, Doug. What's up, John? 2025 configurator coming online next week. Yeah, so we did get confirmation of that a little bit ago. My thing is, I'm curious as to whether or not the ZR1 is going to be included in that. If I had to guess, it's not. And I know whenever they were talking about the 2025 configurator a couple weeks ago, they mentioned that there's a good chance the ZR1 is not going to be part of this configurator. So it's just going to have the new colors, the new interior colors, some new options for the E-Ray, Stingray, and Z06, but likely not to include the ZR1. So with that said, guys, as you may or may not know, the NCM anniversary just passed. So the cruise basically from Carlisle down to the bash and everything that just ended. And while that was going on, we got a lot of information from some of the Corvette engineers. So at Corvettes at Carlisle, we got to talk to some of the engineers. They confirmed that the ZR1 is going to have a 9.7 second quarter mile time at 150 mile an hour plus. I have a feeling that's going to change a little bit. It's probably going to drop a hair, maybe to like 9.5 at more like 158, 155, 158. I think it's going to change just because I think they're still playing with the torque management to make this thing get some sort of traction with 1,000 horsepower. But what they didn't confirm for us was pretty much anything other than that. I did talk to an engineer there who also told me not to expect a 0 to 60 time much faster than the Z06s on the ZR1 because of how badly the torque is going to be limited through the first few gears to get traction. So what that tells me is we're looking at probably a 2.3 to 2.5 second 0 to 60 time. It's not going to be much better than the Z06, even though there's a lot more horsepower, because it's almost impossible to get that power to the ground without all-wheel drive. Robert says, I heard the ZR1 is going back to the Nurburgring for some testing. That would be awesome to see, because I know, based on what I've heard, they do not have an official time at the Nurburgring with the ZR1 because of problems that they were having there with rain and the track time and all that other stuff. So if it actually does go back, there's a better chance we're going to get a time, and that would be really cool. I'd really like to have that. Starched Up says, hey, y'all, I'm late. It's all right, man. Better late than never. Seawolf Z06, what's up, man? He says, hey, Justin. What is going on? Yeah, the ZR1 is unlikely for the builder. 158 will translate to 9.3 seconds, give or take. So I'm thinking like 155 to 158. So we'll be between 9.3 and 9.5, I bet, by the time it's solidified. Because GM is still really working on this car. Just like we just said a second ago about the Nurburgring, about the car possibly going back to the Nurburgring. It's because, yeah, they're still kind of testing this thing. Michael McCurry, I don't usually watch anything that he does. Unfortunately, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. E-Ray will probably be quicker to 60 than the ZR1. It probably will be, but that's about it. So again, E-Ray's quicker, not faster than the Z06. The E-Ray will be maybe quicker, but definitely not faster than the ZR1. Corvette Today says they're going back to the ring, but to tune the car, not get a time. Well, Corvette Today, guys, he's obviously in the house. So again, check out that link in the description down below and make sure you say HPO sent me. So if they're going for tuning purposes, not necessarily for time, they're still working on the car, obviously. And that tells me, again, the biggest thing that they're working on is most likely traction, torque management. They need this thing to get some sort of traction through the first couple gears because of that power. Austin says, one of the engineers said that they're working on new ideas for the seats too, to compensate for the G-force. Wow. Wow. That says something right there. They literally have to change the seat because of the G-force that this car is making. And actually, another thing I should mention is that the thumbnail of this video says 137,000 RPM. That is something that was brought up at the NCM event this past weekend, because that is how fast the turbos spin. 137,000 RPM. Obviously, we've already heard of the fact that they spin so fast that they actually create thrust. And that's why. 137,000 RPM. So this thing is just, it's nuts. It's out there. So let's see. Josh Holder said they'll be happy if they can get 2.5 seconds 0 to 60 on the ZR1 due to limited traction. 9.7 second quarter mile time. Yep. At a low 150-ish. Yep. Either way, 1064 is crazy. Yes, it is. Professor Corvette, if only the front wheels were driven somehow. See, here's the other thing. So again, a lot of people are speculating. A lot of people are thinking that the Zora model is obviously going to just be the ZR1 engine with the E-Ray hybrid motor up front. The problem with that argument, though, is that Taj said that the ZR1, the C8 ZR1, is the most expensive C8 Corvette they're going to build. So how do they add that E-Ray motor up front on a car with the ZR1 motor without making it more expensive? There's only one way to do that. And that's if the Zora option is a checkbox for ultimately the ZR1, because then the ZR1 still stands as the most expensive C8. But it has a Zora option that will give you a front wheel motor, front hybrid motor assist. I don't know. We're still kind of wading through the waters on this one, but Dr. Corvette says, I thought maybe that was a hint and that it was going to be the MSRP. Yeah, no, I wish, man. If it was $137,000 to start, that is significantly lower than I think it's going to be. I again with the ZR1, everybody has been very tight-lipped about the ZR1. I have not heard any rumors of actual pricing on this car yet, which is really odd. Because I mean, there was rumors flying everywhere for the C8 Z06. No rumors on this one. I think it's going to be significantly more than 137,000, but hopefully I'm wrong. I hope this is one of those situations where I hope I'm wrong. I really do. Amber says, "Hey everyone," she's checking in. It's possible. Seawolf Z06 says, any chance they want to introduce the ZR1 with the front wheel motor from the get-go? It's possible. My only concern is if you guys have seen the cutaway car, the cutaway ZR1 at like the Corvettes at Carlisle, there's not much room up front left for that motor because of the intercoolers that sit in the frunk. So they had to delete the frunk because of it. And there's not a lot of room left there for the motors for the front, or the motor for the front wheel. Now, there could be enough space there, I guess, if they really, I don't know. It just didn't look like there was a lot of room there. So I don't know if that's really going to be an option at all, let alone right up front, but it is possible that they're playing with the torque management on the car enough to realize they're not going to be able to get the traction they want out of this without going all-wheel drive. It's very possible. We'll see what happens. And like I said in the beginning, they're not that close to being done with this car. So everything that they're testing is still kind of up in the air. We got 98 thumbs ups currently, guys. Let's smash those thumbs ups. We got 6 more minutes to hit it by 8 o'clock, and then we got to move on to 200 thumbs ups afterwards. Michael McCurry says, even if it was 150,000 to start, I would get a plain Jane base model. Yeah. I don't know. There's something about that I can't do after having the 3LZ interior and everything. I don't know that I want to mess with that. Corvette Today says we will not get the ZR1 pricing until next year. That's what I've been told as well. So I'm thinking pretty early next year. So January or February, if I had to guess, is probably when we'll see some official pricing coming in, but not anytime soon. And then afterwards, I don't think we'll even see the car that much soon that soon after that announcement. Even after the price is announced, I think we're still probably 6 to 8 months away from seeing the car. 2020 Matrix 8 says, hey Amber, getting on late, but we're here. Happy Labor Day. Thanks for tuning in, Jeremy, as always, guys. I appreciate all of you guys that are on here every week with me. Dr. Corvette says he thinks it's going to start at about 179. I'm thinking 189 to 199 start price. And that's a lot. Ralph Cruz says, I thought they were already making a few ZR1s. Those are all just test cars. So captured test fleet vehicles, EX vehicles, stuff like that. Yep. So the Corvette ZR1 has a 1 and 3LZ only, which is again kind of strange because in the past the ZR1s were always only 1 and 3, but they usually were 1 ZR and 3 ZR. And this is the first generation Chevrolet wanted to roll that back to LZ again instead of ZR for the ZR1. Unless, of course, maybe they're saving the 1 and 3 ZR for the Zora model. G. Smith says, I agree. It's going to be close to 200. I think it's going to start 189 to 199. And it would not surprise me if it starts at 199.9. Chopper Larry says 3LZ snob. I don't know if I'm a snob, but I've driven the 1 and the 2 LZs or LTs, and there is definitely a quality difference. And I want the car, I speak of this car as a supercar every time I get a chance. I want it to feel like it is on the interior as well. It does depend on how the testing goes. Absolutely. I think, and that's why we haven't gotten a price yet. They don't know what the price is going to be based on what else they have to add to it, what they have to subtract from it, how much more testing has to happen, how much more tuning has to happen, all the time and money, all the R&D, this all factors into the end price. So they're still working on it. So even if you heard a leak from GM tomorrow that said, oh, it's going to be 159, it's probably not, even if that is legit, it's probably not going to stay that price. Things are changing on this car still. Steve Garrett guesses 164 for the ZR1. Somebody's going to be right. Someday we're going to come back to this video and be like, ah, that guy was right. So make your guesses, guys. What are your guesses for the ZR1? Let's see who ends up being right. I'm guessing 189 to 199 to start. This is before options, before dealer markups. What are your guesses here? Chili Pepper says, will a ZTK be plentiful or rare? I think everybody already kind of knows the answer to that. GM, in their inability, we'll say, to get carbon fiber off of constraint, pretty much answers that question. That ZTK package is going to be rare, just like the Z07 package is on the Z06 currently, because if you haven't seen that wing yet, it's gigantic and it's carbon fiber. They have trouble getting carbon fiber. John Perkins says, love your optimism, Steve. Ralph Cruz says 175,000. Kevin Rand says 184.9. Professor Corvette says 192. Yeah, Noisy F1 says, don't you wish the ZR1 looked more different than the Z06? I do wish they would have done a little bit more with the car to make it a little different. Especially if you get the low wing car, you are really getting a car that looks almost identical to the Z06 minus the hood. And of course the side intakes, but those are not really super visible until you're pretty close to the car. Bill Miller says 159K. Robert Brunn, 198 to start. That's way closer to what I'm thinking. Lewis says 159.9. Michael McCurry also says 159. NBA says 165. Ooh, Jeff Noob going the opposite way. It says 250K plus. Boy, I'll tell you, if GM comes out and that car is priced at 250,000 to start, they're really gonna and I mean even at 200 to start, like 199, like I'm thinking, man, that's pushing a lot of customers away. That is pushing a lot of possible customers away. Amber says I'm having a good air day. Ramen says 172. Danny England says 185.6. Brad says 192. SmackDown is 189.9. That's my second guess. Is 189.9 and 199.9. See, Vet Sweet Nuts, that's exactly where I'm at with it. It's not worth $100,000 over the Z06, but I really feel like that's where it's going to be priced. And it's going to be, it's a hard sell because the car, other than the engine, the car is basically identical. I mean, very little differences outside of the engine. Of course, I mean, the engine's a big deal, but at the same time, I was talking to a couple people at Carlisle, and if they don't come out with like a radically cool color, I would spec the ZR1 very similar to my Z06. So I would sell my Z06, go get a ZR1, drive it home, and most people in my area wouldn't even know I got a new car because it looks so similar to the Z06 anyway. Austin says only 10% of the Z06s have the Z07 package. Can only imagine for the ZTK. It's going to be basically the same thing. All right, guys, we are at 123 thumbs ups. Let's keep the thumbs ups rolling. We're going to talk about some ZR1 information here really soon. So we're just getting through some of the formalities here, and then we got some cool stuff to talk about from the NCM event. 300 plus, wow. Chopper Larry says, you're right on the money at 199. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope we're both wrong. Justin, I think the new ZR1 will be starting at 179 and the higher trim levels will top out at just over 200. Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. As of right now, you select the 3LZ box for a Z06 and it adds, I think, 13K to the price. So, I mean, if it starts out at 179 and you add 3LZ, convertible, stealth package, level 2 carbon, front end lift, you're going to be well over 220 at that point. C8 Nate says 198.9. Nice. Nice. You're taking the Jeopardy route, you know, or whatever that is, the closest without going over. For 200K, I'd rather have two Z06s. That's exactly where my thought is on it. It's tough to. This is why everybody keeps asking me if I'm getting one, and I keep telling them it really depends on price. Because if it comes out and it's 200,000, I don't know that I can even justify it, even if I could afford it, which would be tough. I don't know if I can justify it because of the difference not being that big from the Z06. And my Z06 is already set up exactly like I want it. Like I don't know. G. Smith says, "What is the problem with carbon fiber shortage? Did we deplete it all, or what?" Like, that's kind of where I'm at with it. GM has a really strict carbon fiber quality process. That's kind of where the problem's at. The carbon fiber that they're able to get from specific manufacturers or third party people that they work with, a lot of it's not meeting their quality expectations. And from what I understand, GM doesn't pay very well. So if you were the company making the carbon fiber, GM doesn't give you a lot of money for these parts. And that doesn't really make it so you would want to keep making the parts for the GM. So I think that might be the issue, but that's just what I've heard. I don't know. Glass City Car Nerd, 199.9. That's one of my guesses. Dylan says, if Zora comes out, is it rumored to be the ZR1 with E-Ray motors and active aero? There's not really much rumor to it as of now, other than it said early on that the ZR1 was going to be 850 horsepower and that the Zora was going to be 1,000, and it was going to be the same drivetrain from the ZR1 with a hybrid motor up front. So assuming they still do that, it's going to be more like 1,220 horsepower and possibly active aero, because GM's been patenting active aero since the beginning of the C8 Corvette lineup. So one of these things have to have active aero. Making It Happen says 159K base, 199K loaded, 100K markups for the first year. Joe says 175K. Bill Miller says, that's okay. I love me a sleeper. Let it look like a Z06 and blow the doors off everything. See, it's fine to be a sleeper if that's what you prefer, but even if that is the case, they should have made one of the models different. Something just totally 100% recognizable immediately that was a ZR1. Like if you see a C7 ZR1, like mine back here in the background, the whole front end was different. The front bumper was different. The hood was different. The fenders were wider. Then you had the big wing in the back. There's no mistaking that for a Z06, assuming that you don't have a Z06 that they added all that stuff to. If you set a ZR1, a C7 ZR1 beside a C7 Z06, you immediately know the difference. With the C8 ZR1, though, it's not quite that simple. It looks a lot like a C8 Z06. Corvette Today says, Justin, I saw ZR1 number 39 at the Hall of Fame ceremony, Rapid Blue. That's pretty cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things we're going to talk about tonight. I've had a bunch of people asking me about the blue calipers coming on the C8 ZR1. Sure enough, we got some pictures of it. So I'm going to be pulling those up here for you in a second as well. But if you guys were wondering, blue calipers are in fact back for the C8 ZR1. That is definitely going to be something you're going to be getting with that build. Brandon's Garage says he's about to add all the ZR1 stuff to his Z06 and just call it a day. And I mean, the price is really going to determine that for me too, because the wing I have now on the Z06 from Racing Sport Concepts, actually rocking their merch right here. It's an awesome wing. It's a Z07 replica wing, but they're talking about making a ZR1 wing too that would bolt right onto the same setup as the Z06, but they're taking it a step further, and they're actually gonna change the mounts as well, because the wing is so much bigger and will create more downforce. The brackets that hold the wing to the car need to be altered as well to put that downforce somewhere. So they're actually going to have little legs that like stand right on top of the actual frame, the crash bar in the rear, to really push on the parts that need to be pushed on for downforce purposes. But this is a long way of me saying you can add the ZR1 wing to your Z06. Starts Up says, I just don't think GM is going to have a starting price for the ZR1 that's 100K more than the Z06. A 50K bump over the Z06 looks better on paper, so I'm guessing 164. Well, yeah, that's the thing, is it's not so much 100K. The Z06 right now starts at basically 112. And to have it start at 199, that is quite a jump, I agree. The only reason I'm thinking that is because everybody under the moon speculated that the C8 Z06 was going to come in around 89 to 99,000 initially. And then it came out at 106. It was significantly higher priced than any of us thought. And I feel like they're going to do the same thing with the ZR1, because originally the ZR1 was supposed to only have 850 horsepower. Then it comes out with 1064, blows everybody's mind, and why would they not capitalize on that by charging more? Professor Corvette says, can you add the split window to other C8s aftermarket? There's already a company out there I saw making these, and they look horrible. They look awful. Like, it's not a good look. If you're going to add the split window, really the only way to do it is to do it the way GM did it. If you're going to add it aftermarket through, I don't remember what company it was that I saw was making it. It's just like a stick-on thing that goes over top of your current window. It's just, it does not look good in my opinion. All right, so let's talk a little bit of news here, guys. One of the things I wanted to mention right off the bat is a lot of this information is coming from the NCM 30th anniversary celebration. So if you guys didn't go to that, this was something that just ended this past weekend. And it was, I kind of wish I would have gone, honestly. I knew I had to decide between Corvettes Carlisle or this, and I felt like Carlisle was the better pick. I still do, but I wish I could have done both. But here's what we got. So over at the midenginecorvetteforum.com, they started a thread where some people were posting some pictures. You might recognize the main picture here. This just so happens to be the thumbnail, but this car was actually sitting right in front of the National Corvette Museum. So if you get the ZTK version of this car, it's pretty, from the side especially, it's pretty obvious it's not a Z06 when you have that big wing. And there's no splitter on this car for obvious reasons. They had to get it up there. But the big wing and that big flap on the front hood kind of gives it away, but still, I don't know. I just wish it was still a little bit more. Mountain Dew is still not a sponsor, Professor Corvette. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the call, Mountain Dew. I just like Mountain Dew. I wish they were paying me for that. Yeah, Brandon, I wish so too. He said he wishes we had that car Carlisle instead of the cutaway car. No, you didn't. Michael McCurry, did you really get a Mountain Dew commercial? Please tell me you really did. Because if you did, then Pepsi's listening, and that's insane. That would be freaking incredible. Ollie says, do you think the 25 build site will be up before the 10th? Well, I can't remember what the date was. They said the date not too long ago. I think it's around the 10th. It is coming soon, but I don't remember what the date was. I need to know, Michael. Are you serious or not? Did that really happen? Anyway, let's move through this stuff, guys. So obviously Keith from the Corvette blogger is the one that posted this stuff up on the Mid-Engine Corvette forum. Some people posted pictures of their rides, but the big things for me were the actual pictures of the cars. So again, just like Professor Corvette just beat me to, the comp yellow is really a nice yellow on this car. And in my opinion, the yellow that should have been on here from the very beginning. I was never a big fan of the Accelerate yellow. I think this is the much nicer yellow, but where things start to get interesting is right here. And I mentioned this to somebody at Corvettes at Carlisle, that the uh, Hysteria purple color seems to be more purple than it has in the past. I don't know if maybe they changed something or if I'm just noticing it in different light, because when I saw Harlan Charles's Z06 at the hotel that I was staying at night, I walked out and looked at it at about 10 p.m. It was as purple as you could possibly get. And I have not seen that color look that way before. So then the next day at the show, I was looking at the car, the Hysteria purple under the tent, and it still looked a good bit purple. And I noticed that it, in direct sunlight is the only time that I'm noticing it's not as purple as I would like it to be. What are you guys thinking? Have you, for those of you who just saw the purple at Corvettes at Carlisle, what are your thoughts on it? Honestly, Professor Corvette, that wouldn't even surprise me. They're shining hidden purple lights on it because it really does look more purple than it did originally. Michael McCurry says, I was just thinking of you in cutoff jeans in a West Virginia style house in a canyon, leaned up on the Z06 drinking Mountain Dew. All right. I have never done any of those things, but I guess whatever it takes. Yeah, C8 Nate says, I noticed that my phone captures more of a blue color than your eyes pick up as more of a purple color in person. That makes sense. Yeah. Grayish blue. It looked better than the early example at the museum. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I don't know. It looks better to me now than it did at the bash in April. And that's kind of what it seems like everybody else is saying as well. All right, so we got 183 people in here watching, guys. We got 149 thumbs ups. We got to get about 51 more thumbs ups in 15 minutes. Think we can do it? I think we can. Let's do it, guys. Smash the thumbs up. Really helps the channel. I don't want to, I hate harping on this, but I really would love to hit 200. So smash those thumbs ups for me. Dylan says, I doubt GM will do Nurburgring times, but what do you predict the ZR1 could do? I predict that the C8 Z06 hit somewhere around 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Unofficially. I think 6 minutes, 50 seconds for the C8 Z06, and I'm thinking probably 6:42 to 6:45 for the ZR1. I doubt we'll ever see either one of those numbers pop up officially, but that would be my guess. Professor Corvette says, 2 things to add to the HPO logo now: a turtle and a Mountain Dew logo. We got to get Mountain Dew to sign on first, guys. That would be huge. Can you imagine if Mountain Dew started sponsoring my channel? I don't even know what I would do. NBA Live Awesomeness says, I saw it and I've seen a Lamborghini Huracan in purple, and the Lamborghini purple is so much better. Yes, it is. I actually just put out a video where I filmed Lamborghini Huracan with that purple on it and said, this is the purple we should have got, because it is the purple we should have got. Seawolf Z06 says, I agree with you on the purple, Justin. I was at the NCM and it looked more purple than blue. And it's weird because that's not the way it looked originally. So I don't know if maybe they changed it. Maybe they kind of heard some of the feedback and said, yeah, we better add more purple to it. I don't know. Missing Shane. Yeah, guys, thumbs up. Shane's obviously not in the house. He works a million jobs, so let's make up for it for him and hit that 200 mark. Then he'll know that his job has been done, whether he's here or not. Yeah, so Michael McCurry says, I hope Mishka is driving the ZR1, because he did the Z06 and said basically that the Z06 is definitely capable of hitting the under 7 minute time. So I'm using his driving as a an example as to why I think the Z06 would hit a 6-minute and 50-second time. Brand says maybe a frog too. Yeah. We'll put a frog, a turtle, a Mountain Dew. Yeah, it could gain a lot of time in the long straights at the ring. That's the big thing, is that the long straights are going to lend a huge, it's going to be a huge benefit for the 1064 part of the ZR1. The tight turns, however, would be less of a benefit for the ZR1s because GM already said that the ZR1 suspension is softer than the Z06's. So it's give and take. You get more time on the straights, sure, but you're going to lose a little bit in the turns. I agree that the Hysteria Purple with the Habanero interior would be pretty cool. Yeah, Brandon, you should definitely send John a shirt. He'd rock it for sure. So, let's see here. Here's some more shots of the Hysteria Purple. And one of the things I noticed about the purple is that it almost seems like, because this is the same car we had at the at Carlisle, it almost seems like the chrome, and I'm going to call it chrome, even though I know it's technically polished. It almost seems like the chrome wheels bring out more purple. Really kind of strange, but I mean, that looks really purple to me. And I swear that color did not look that purple at the bash. So again, that's a nice purple right there. That's not bad. I like that. It did not look like that. I swear it didn't look like that at the bash. Yes, there is a little bit of news on the Habanero. I have some first shots coming up here soon. We're gonna show some of the Habanero interior. No, so they said the ZTK package is still not as stiff as the Z07 package. The ZR1 without the ZTK was softer than the Z06. They compared it to the E-Ray suspension. And then the ZTK package was apparently just a hair less stiff than the Z06 package, not the Z07 package car. Oh, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Austin saying the engineer said the ZTK is just as aggressive as the Z07. That's not what I heard in the video that I watched. They said that both of them were not as stiff as the Z06 or Z07 package cars. But that would make more sense to me. If you're going to make one of them softer, make the ZR1 without the ZTK package softer. Yeah, that's what I thought. Kevin Horan says that they said it would be close to the Z07, but not Z07. That's what I thought I heard across the board for the ZTK package car. Neither one were going to be as stiff as the Z07. I'm going to have to go back and look and reconfirm for next week's Monday Night Live, but I'm pretty sure that none of the ZR1s are going to be as stiff as the Z07 kit packaged car. Ralph Cruz says, if the C8 ZR1 is 1064, what will the C9 ZR1 be? 1500 horsepower with jet engines? We're getting to the point where you really can't just add horsepower. At some point, enough is enough, and you got to start perfecting aerodynamics, and that's where active aero is really going to come into play. Based on the pictures, Mike Hobbs says, Justin, do you think the Habanero interior will match the Sebring Orange? Based on the pictures I'm about to show you, it looks like they're going to be pretty close. And that's a good thing, because I think that's gonna be a color combination you're gonna see a lot of. So let me pull that up here now. So here we go. So this is the first shot of the Habanero interior from the NCM event. So I feel like that's a pretty close match to the Sebring Orange. You can actually see down in the bottom corner of this particular picture the orange seatbelt as well. Looks pretty much a match for the Habanero interior, but this orange seatbelts matched Sebring orange on the exterior pretty closely. So I think it's going to be a pretty close match. Again, I really like this interior color combination because it doesn't put the orange all over the dash too. It keeps it more of a dash of orange rather than just flooded the interior with it. I think this is going to look cool. Number one, it would look really awesome with the Hysteria purple, which you can actually see in the background of this picture on the screen. It would really give it supercar vibes. Exterior, Hysteria purple, interior habanero. That would look good. And if you go Sebring orange, I think that's going to match. No habanero dipped. Nope. That would be too much. But that's the kind of the first shot of the habanero interior. So if you guys are thinking about getting that, I think it would be pretty cool. It's definitely gonna look exotic. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Michael McCurry says, I think habanero will take the place of popular red and black. I don't think so. I think red and black is that color that everybody likes. I don't think that's ever going to go away. But SmackDown says the purple with some type of white interior I think would be pretty dope. That would look good too. Seawolf, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate that. He says, thanks for an awesome channel, Justin and Amber, and all you do for the Corvette community. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. Brandon says, I agree, Justin. We need habanero to keep the car exotic looking. Yep. 100%. Oh, Joe says the habanero does not match the orange stripes. Are the orange stripes on the car Sebring orange? I don't think they are. Let me see. No. So the orange stripes on the car don't look like Sebring orange. They actually look darker. What was the habanero interior lighter or darker than the stripes, Joe? So while we're waiting on that answer, let's check out the other ZR1 information here because there was a lot of it at the NCM event this past weekend. And one of the big things I focused on, obviously, on the thumbnail was the 137,000 RPM that the turbos run at, which is incredible. But lots of PowerPoint slides here that were talked about. Obviously, we got the small block Gemini, which are the LT6 and LT7 engines, respectively. But yeah, naturally aspirated and boosted. LT6 and LT7 were designed and developed together from day one. We already kind of knew that. The only thing that the LT6 and the LT7 share is the 5.5 liter lightweight rev-happy flat plane crank architecture, block casting, some valve train head layout, exhaust side direct injection system, LT6 portion of the lube system. So that slightly changes with the LT7 because of the extra scavenge pump. But why turbocharging over supercharging? It maintains low rotating mass and greater efficiency for increased power. So a lot of you guys out there were asking early on why they didn't do supercharging. I guess that's why they answered that. But where was the turbo information here? 76 millimeter compressor, ported intake shroud, improves low speed performance for large turbos. A lot of this information we've already heard, but the one with the 137,000 RPM was what really got me. Is it literally spins so fast that it creates propulsion, which is crazy. Okay, so Joe says it's lighter by a few shades. That should match better with Sebring orange then, because those stripes look darker than Sebring orange to me. So interesting stuff here with the cylinder heads. It's a unique casting for the LT7. Added coolant ports for turbo cooling. You can actually see in the pictures where it's all of this stuff has been built to make sure that this car stays cool. And that's a big thing for me because the Z06 in general, the C8 Z06 runs so cool on the track that I feel like throwing two turbos at this thing and just building a massive amount of heat might be a bad thing. But if GM really, really developed this thing the way they did with the C8 Z06 to make sure it stays cool first, it shouldn't be an issue. And it looks like that's kind of what they've been doing here. Compression ratio. Yeah, I knew that. I don't know why I was drawing a blank on that. Yeah, and that's a big thing. C8 and 8 says they don't take any horsepower away from the motor to run, and that's it. Obviously runs on exhaust gases, so there's no parasitic loss to the engine by driving a supercharger. Like they said, I don't remember the exact numbers, but I remember when the ZR1, the C7 ZR1 first came out, they said that it took almost 200 horsepower. I can't remember if it was somewhere around like 170 or 180 horsepower just to spin the supercharger, which is nuts. But if it had been able to be turboed, it would have obviously fed off of the exhaust gases instead. So right here, the 137,000 RPM from Jordan Lee's seminar. Confirmation of as well that the LT7 will use the same 5W50 supercar Mobil 1 oil that the Z06 uses. Again, 137,000 RPM is how fast the turbo spins at max. Again, creating a propulsion, which is insane. So, a lot of information about the ZR1 that was talked about at the NCM event, and it's incredible. But yeah, where are we at? So we got 175 likes, guys. We only need 25 more. We got roughly 3 minutes. Guys, smash the thumbs up. It will really help a lot. Yeah, dark blue jeans on the habanero interior. I don't know if that would be so much a problem as it is with like the sky cool gray. I've seen the transfer on the sky cool gray interior, and it's not a pretty thing. Michael McCurry says, "What made GM go turbos instead of the typical supercharger?" We actually answered that a second ago with their PowerPoint slides here. So right here at the bottom it says, "Why turbocharging over supercharging?" It's because turbos maintain a lower rotating mass and greater efficiency for increased power. So not just that, there is a superchargers tend to hold heat in the engine a little bit worse because they're top mounted, so they don't really let the heat kind of get out of the engine. So they're a little bit harder to keep cool. Let's see. These turbos are more efficient only because it can maintain PSI at a lower RPM. Otherwise, superchargers with no, yeah, Bill, superchargers are losing way more than 3 horsepower. It's literally on the C7 ZR1, it was almost 200 horsepower that it took just to spin the supercharger. Yeah, Justin says Taj said the propulsion propels the car with 35 psi of thrust. It's actually I think it was 37 is what I read, but either way, the fact that these things create propulsion is telling you they're spinning really freaking fast. Yeah, Carl Bullock said he was at Carlisle on Thursday when he let the two girls sit in the car and rev it. Yeah, the both of them did the same thing last year with my C7 ZR1, and I thought it would be kind of funny to have them do it again. The car is just it's just a beast. I mean the Z06 is such an awesome car. It takes that stuff in stride. And yeah, Mobile Live Awesomeness says 37 pounds of thrust. Insane. I mean, literally, I can't think of something crazier. You have a turbo that is propulsing this car or whatever. It's literally pushing this car to 1,000 horsepower, and then it's also like by itself also creating thrust behind it. So add some wings to this car, and it'll be flying in no time. 37 pounds at what RPM and after how long? 37, I would guess that's probably at the max, which is the 137,000 RPM, which is at max boost. And I think they said max was 25 PSI, if I remember right. Something, maybe 28 it maxed out at. I want to see if I can find this real quick on the Corvette ZR1. Uh, hmm. Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up for next Monday night. I don't want to sit here and look for it too long. But I know I read somewhere for the C7 ZR1 that it was around 170 or 180 horsepower it took just to spin the supercharger. So supercharged applications are pretty, there's a lot of parasitic loss, because if you're not flooring it and just maxing out that supercharger, you're actually losing power over what just a naturally aspirated engine would have. Seawolf Z06 says, kind of off topic, but just did the tail of the dragon in my Z06. What a thrill. That's awesome. I need to get onto that road here one of these days. Yeah, that's another thing. Lewis says, don't forget, you can see the flames during the daytime. So the flames out of the C8 ZR1, you can see them during the daytime. The reason they add that daytime thing in there is because on the C8 Z06, you can see a blue flame coming out of the stock exhaust at night. But with the ZR1, you can see it during the day too, because it's literally just constantly throwing flames out for no reason. So Amber made it with negative 2 minutes to spare. Bam.
Better late than never, right?
Better late than never. Correct. It is making the thrust through the turbo. So literally the force of the boost going through the turbos is what's creating that. Hi, Amber.
Hey, Lewis. Looks like a busy night tonight, huh?
Got 108. Guys, we need 11 more thumbs ups. 11 more. That's really not that bad.
Don't do the thumbs up for Justin. Do it for Onyx.
Protective Dad Pranks on the lives, and he's throwing it out there. He's on the best Corvette live. The best. What's up, Steve? Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it.
Steve, make sure you hit that thumbs up, buddy.
Yeah, Steve, we need 11 more thumbs ups. You can help by adding one more. Guys, Protective Dad Pranks is in the house. You know what that means. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for a very, very specific three-digit comment to happen in the comment section. Who's going to be the first one to do it?
I mean, I think the flag says it all. I think we're good with just a flag, right?
We'll see what happens.
Go USA.
137,000 RPM is what the turbos on the C8 ZR1 spin at. Yeah. Yeah, me and Steve were talking like 3 hours ago. But
hit that thumbs up for Onyx. Come on, guys.
What we got?
Some thumbs up.
196. We need 4 more thumbs ups, guys. Oh, there it is. That's actually a little bit different than usual, Steve, but Lewis nailed it right underneath you.
Still the same point.
Still the same point. Oh, we got 197. We need 3 more thumbs ups. 3 more, and then we're at 200.
We can always count on Steve, right?
What do you mean?
I don't know. He just...
199. We need 1 more.
It brings some light to the entertainment here.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve, me and Steve were actually just recently talking about it. We're probably gonna have a reunion tour here shortly, so stay tuned for that stuff, guys.
What's a reunion tour?
We'll have to wait and see. We need 1 more. Oh, there it is. 200. We hit it. Awesome. Awesome.
Baby Onyx.
Brandon, thank you for letting people know. He says he's gonna log out and undercover add a thumbs up. Awesome. All right, guys, that's going to do it for tonight, I believe. Steve, thanks for tuning in. We got a lot to talk about. Like I said, guys, we're going to have a reunion tour here soon with Protective Dad Pranks and everybody. But thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. Like I said, happy Labor Day. I know it was a holiday, so it's awesome to see all you guys on here. Brand says click for the poodle.
Poodle?
He's a American Cocker Spaniel, but I can see why you would think that. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in as usual. Thumbs up if you haven't yet, guys, and we will see you same time, same place next Monday night.
Hey, Steve, this is for you. Peace.